Alright, welcome to the Marten's class story. We are reading The World's Best Teachers.
No, it's the world's what?
It's The World's Best Teachers. And we are reading the first story of Mr. Pent's Balls. And we've just met a character called a Rebel. Rebel, we all know what Rebel looks like. There's Rebel. Show the rest of you. It's Rebel. She's coming up with a plan because she said everyone meet after school in the park. Psst, pass it on. Alright. This was passed from one child to another. Soon the message became mangled. Park meet in the school after everyone. Meet after park everyone in school. School everyone in the meet park after. However, as soon as the bell rang for the end of school, ding, a rushing river of children ran to the park. Rebel climbed to the top of the climbing frame to address her fellow pupils. The girl was a natural rabble arouser and spoke with an urgent energy that inspired all that heard her. Have you had enough of Mr. Pent confiscating all our balls? She cried. Yes, the cheered cried. Do you want to rescue Roland from the ball cupboard? Yes. Do we all need to get our own bag on Mr. Pent? Yes. Are you with me?
Yes.
Rebel expounded her plan. It was quite brilliant, but would only work if every single kid in St. Aub's played their part, and they would need to play it to perfection. That afternoon, all the kids left the park excited about what tomorrow would bring. The bell rang for lunch break the next day. Ring! As the kids streamed out of the school building into the playground, Mr. Pent was on the prowl, as always. Balls, 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 he muttered to himself, his eyes darting around to spot one. On Rebel's signal, it was time for the pupils to begin phase 1 of their plan. A group of kids began playing football. Another group started playing cricket. Still more played hockey, tennis, bowls, ping pong, or even snooker. Any game you could think of that involves a ball, they played it, as noisily and boisterously as they could. Goal! Game, set and match! Pass the ball! Except there were no balls. Not one. The hundreds of kids were all taking part in an ginormous trick. Every single one of them was miming. Of course, Mr. Pent knew absolutely nothing of this scheme. How could he? The teacher could see all the kids running after a ball, kicking a ball, bowling a ball, hitting a ball, potting a ball. The thing was, he couldn't see a single ball. Mr. Pent exploded like an angry volcano. It's not looking very good there. It's looking rather red. You see that, guys? Yeah. His face went fiery red. Steam came out of his ears. His eyes boiled in his head. Balls! 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 He kept shouting over and over again before he managed to bellow, What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of what, sir? Asked Rebel innocently as she sidled up to him. The entire school is playing with... He could barely bring himself to say the balls word. I know, Mr. Pent, sir. It is absolutely terrible that everyone would disregard your rules. I know. Can they not read the signs? There, and there. The teacher began manically pointing to the hundreds of signs he put up all over the playground. Balls are forbidden. No balls. How many times do you need to be told? Absolutely no balls. Maybe you need to put up more signs.
This is Mr. James to everybody. Please be advised the back gates are now to parents. Thank you.
We don't want to hear that. Suggested Rebel with a smirk. No, 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 he thundered. These nasty little wretches have seen my signs. It's just that today I can't spot a single ball. Balls. You what, sir, Rebel? Did her best look of incredulity. Where are the balls? You mean to say you can't see any? She asked, mockingly innocently. No, he boomed. That is very strange, because there are balls absolutely everywhere, sir. Balls? Where? He demanded. Look, sir, there's one, she said, pointing at nothing. Pent's piercing eyes followed her finger. I can't see any balls. And another, and another, and another. Balls, balls, balls. Where? There, she replied. The balls are just going so fast that they are a bit of a blur. If you chase after them, I'm sure you'll catch one. Mr. Pent passed his leather briefcase to the girl and took a deep breath. Hold this, he ordered. With pleasure, sir. The teacher then began charging around the playground, bellowing, Balls! 2-0, called out one of the kids. Out, shouted another. Strike, yelled a third. Mr. Pent was like a dog chasing his own tail. He went left, he went right, he went forwards, he went backwards, he spun round and round in circles. He even leapt into the air to intercept an imaginary ball. Huh? Then slid to the ground to stop another from rolling off. He leapt onto the ping-pong table to stop a third. Dah! The table couldn't take his weight. It broke, crunch, and tumbled to the ground, taking Mr. Pent with it. Thud. Now he was rolling around on the grass. Balls, 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 balls. He began muttering to himself over and over, as if he'd gone quite bananas. Balls, 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 balls. The bell rang for the end of lunchtime. Ring! Trying desperately to stifle their giggles. Tee-hee-hee. All the kids began packing up their imaginary balls before dashing off to their lessons. Goodbye, sir, called Rebel. I hope you finally find your balls. This caused bits of giggles from the kids. Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha. Balls, 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 he muttered. A window opened at the top of the school building, and Mrs. Stade poked her head out and shouted, Bent! Yes, balls, I mean, headmistress, he called back from the playground. I don't pay you good money to lie on the ground. Up, man, up, up, up! Mr. Pent scrambled to his feet. I'm so sorry, headmistress. Balls? I should hope so. Now, off to your lesson, at once, and stop saying balls. Balls, I mean, yes, balls. All the kids pressed their faces up against the windows, were looking out with wide-eyed delight. It was time for phase 2 of their plan. As a still dizzy Mr. Pent wobbled through the empty playground, Rebel gave the order. Now! Kids, from out of the window of the school building, all started throwing the balls they'd secretly smuggled into school that morning. Footballs, basketballs, tennis balls, ping-pong balls, softballs, every type of balls you could think of landed into the playground. Boing, boing, boing. They bounced all around Mr. Pent, some even bobbed off his head. Boink, boink, boink. Balls! He bellowed. Mr. Pent thought he might be seeing things as he reached out to grab them. Balls, 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 balls! He caught some in his hands, but there were far too many for him to hold. The look of glee on his face, he began stuffing the balls about his person. Footballs were squeezed down his trousers, tennis balls up his jumper, cricket balls under his arms, and basketballs under his chin, and a dozen ping-pong balls in his mouth. Looking as if he'd been inflated, Mr. Pent waddled across the playground. Balls, 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 he kept repeating to himself as he hurried into the school building. The teacher, of course, heading to his special cupboard where he kept all the confiscated balls under lock and key. The cupboard was already jam-packed with balls, and poor round-headed Roland was still stuffed in there. Rat-tat-tat! Help! Let me out! It's been 2 days now, and all I've had to eat is a mouldy old tennis ball, cried the boy. Mr. Pent fumbled for his key and opened the door. Oh, thank goodness! Exclaimed Roland. You are letting me out. No! Snapped Mr. Pent. I'm putting more balls in. Balls. Just managing to hold on to Roland and the wall of walls, Pent stuffed more and more in. Balls, 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 balls. Now the cupboard was full to bursting. As all the kids popped their heads round the classroom doors to watch, Mr. Pent put his back up against the cupboard door to close it. It took all his might. When he finally managed to close the door and lock it behind them, the teacher smiled gleefully. Balls, he said to himself, sitting there. So you guys, I'm not sure it's going to stay shut. Then, all of a sudden, the cupboard strained with the pressure. Creak! Sir, called out Rebel from the doorway. Balls! I mean what? Just one more, sir. With that, she rolled a giant beach ball towards him. Eagerly, Mr. Pent pounced on it. Balls! Got you! He then unlocked the cupboard door so he could imprison the last one like all the others. This would prove to be a mistake. So that's the big ball. It's bigger than a Rebel, that one. As soon as he unlocked the door, thousands of balls and Roland burst out. Boom! They tumbled down the corridor. Boing, boing, boing. It was a tidal wave of balls. Mr. Pent was swept off his feet. The kids closed the classroom door and watched through the glass as their teacher was carried along the corridor. Roland managed to leap on top of some of the lockers. He was safe. Hooray! Shouted all the kids. It's been 2 days. I really need the loo, said the boy, as the teacher rushed past him. Whoosh! Balls! Screamed Pent. The balls washed him down the stairs, through the doors, and out into the playground. Help! Screamed Pent. The whole school looked on from the main building, but there was nothing they could do. Balls! Bawled Mr. Pent as he was swept out through the gates. He rolled down the road and all the way out to town. The balls rolled into the distance, taking Mr. Pent with them. The maths teacher was never seen again. From that day on, the pupils at St. Aub's were happy that they could play all the ball games they liked, but they also felt sad. Why? Because they really missed winding up their teacher. After all, why else do you go to school? All right.